For many of us who are not experts, we can mistake things in our landscape as being bad when actually we're told that they can be very beneficial. Dr. Whitney Elmore is back to help us not make these common mistakes in this month's Rooted in Florida. Good to see you. We love when you're here.
Thank you.
So this is interesting. I think landscaping, certainly here in Florida, we love our yards, we love our landscaping, but there's a lot to learn.
There is a lot to learn, especially for folks that aren't really used to Florida.
All right, so you're saying that there can be things like what that can be misleading?
There's a lot of different things, and we get lots of phone calls, especially about things like Spanish moss, first of all.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Spanish moss, ball moss as well, very closely related, that you'll see hanging off of the power lines sometimes, off of your trees, of course.
Get stuck in our cars.
Get stuck all over the place, blow around in the wind, and a lot of folks tend to think that this is a parasite, that it's harming their plants, and so they're very concerned about it, and they're frequently asking, what do I need to spray to get rid of this? Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Because this is not a parasite on your plants at all. It does no harm. This is what's called an epiphyte. And so these are very, these modified leaves, if you will, capture moisture from the air. So all this really needs is a place to hang out.
Okay.
And it tends to use trees or vines or...
Is it beneficial for the actual tree that it's on?
It's not necessarily beneficial. It's just hanging out there, using it as a support, basically.
Okay.
So a lot of people will see it on plants that have kind of declined over time, and they just assume that, well, this must be what did the damage. This must be what killed the tree. When in all actuality, you have less leaves, a better opportunity for this to catch hold when it's being flown around by a bird or in the wind. So it's just by happenstance that you might see this in a higher amount.
Now, growing up here in Florida, I always thought this was like a breeding ground for like bugs and nasty stuff. And
you could have some critters running around in here and everything, but nothing that's going to do us any harm or any harm to our plants. Now, if you did get a really heavy load of this, it could break limbs. Okay. So you might have to just mechanically, by hand, pull this down.
But don't waste time just trying to get rid of it because you think it's okay. What else did you bring here?
So another very common mistaken identity is with this very beautiful winged elm that you see here toward the front. And I'm not sure if you can see these very corky outgrowths, these wings that are all along.
Oh, on the actual,
actual plant itself here. A lot of people tend to think that's disease or something weird. That's a normal part of this plant. It's very unusual, but a very normal part of this plant. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful plant in the landscape.
All right, good to know.
A couple other things.
Is this a bush, by the way? I mean, what does this typically look like?
This is a large tree, a large shade tree, beautiful elm tree. Another very common issue is with lichens. Okay. And we find lichens, many different colors of them. Can we bring those around? Yeah. So, and here's a small, teeny tiny one here. They can look like, they can be laying on plants, on rocks, on bare soil.
So we're talking about this stuff right here?
This stuff here, and even this gray, blue stuff, and even the one that's in my hand right here that almost looks like a tiny little plant, okay? People think that these are actually doing harm, that this is disease. Lichens are nothing more than algae and a fungus living together. They're both benefiting each other. They're just hanging out on the plant. Okay. They're good bioindicators. They tell us how healthy an environment is.
We have about a minute left. Is there any red flags or signs that you should be looking for? I mean, I know that's a big question because there's so much.
It is, but in terms of disease or insect problems or something like that, anything that is out of the norm for that plant, do a little bit of research, get familiar with the plants in your landscape and know what's normal. Most all the plants you can find normal, healthy pictures online, and anything that doesn't look normal to you over a season or so, you might go, okay, this is something I need to call the extension office about. Or if the plant starts to show a decline that's not normal, then it's something we need to take a closer look at.
Well, how do you know if you're looking at your landscape, you don't know what the plant is? How do you even begin to search for figuring that out?
There's a lot of different ways these days with access to the internet, but honestly, the best way to be absolutely sure, send us pictures through email or bring us a sample. If we can't identify it right there in the office, we send it up to the experts on campus in Gainesville at the University of Florida Herbarium.
We need to do a segment on poison ivy. I want to request that one too, and all the different leaves and stuff.
That's a common mistake.
I know. That's why I'm thinking. I just thought of that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you.
Again, when you're here. All right. We'll put more info on our website as well.
Are you